And we are going to be talking about fucking Disney. That's what we are. We went to,
where full, and then they were like,
see, so, yeah, man, today we are going to be talking about MegaCon.
Yeah, I love
Yeah, but who the hell cares about wildlife anyway?
Right.
And we are going to be talking about fucking Disney. That's what we are. What's going on, guys? Welcome to the Nerd Archive podcast. My name is Louis, as always, with my, amazing co-host, know-it-all co-host, Lola. I think so.
Hi.
Yadi and Justin. Listen, before we get started on anything, we're going to have the previously on. He keeps saying that it wasn't good enough. We'll see. Because every time he says that, it gets better. So, let's get started with that.
What's going on, nerds? It's everybody's favorite Ryan. Previously, on the Nerd Archive podcast, Louis invited Sophisticated Gentleman on, aka Ryan. Hold on, let me just pull this knife out of my back. My invitation must have got lost in the mail. Makes sense since Louis can't pronounce or spell my last name. Or my first name. Or maybe he just forgot. He forgets to play this segment half the time. Anyways, on the Nerdy Quote game, Louis cheats off of Ryan's paper and gets an extra 2 points. The quote was from everybody's favorite pile of rocks, Korg. My favorite pile of rocks is Louis. The nerds talk about Secret Invasion, which is what I'm calling the podcast book tour that Sophisticated Gentleman's been on for the last week. Then the nerds talk about the writer's strike. Speaking of strikes, Louis is on strike 2 with me after this week. Everyone chooses shapeshifting over mind reading for a superpower. Maybe Louis can shapeshift into somebody who's not an asshole to me. Anyways, let's see what the nerds get into this week.
Thank you, Ryan. Listen,
Oh my god.
I wish I can shapeshift into that, but I don't want to. So, wow, your co-hosts are amazing. You, on the other hand,
You were so worried about that not being good because you didn't have a whole lot of stuff to go off of, but man, seriously, why? Why do you worry so much? It was fucking funny as hell.
it was fucking awesome. All right, so let's get started with my favorite segment.
Woo!
Okay. This no introduction needed.
That's right, everybody. It's time for Lewis's favorite segment in the entire world. It's time for Nerdy Quote of the Week.
I hear that shit in my dreams.
And every time you wake up in a cold sweat with a sore anus.
Sometimes just with the soreness. Even when I don't hear it.
That's all good. I mean, everybody knows he seems to enjoy that, so.
Yes.
All right. So we'll get straight into it with this week's quote. I think you look great, Cap. As far as I'm concerned, that's America's ass.
That is Ant-Man in Civil War.
Okay, there's Lewis. Lola.
that is Ant-Man in Endgame.
All right. Yadi.
That is Ant-Man and Endgame.
All right. Everybody's guesses are in, and that quote was stated by Ant-Man in Avengers Endgame.
You were so close, and I was hoping you got it, and then you said Civil War, and I went.
And of course, Ryan's guess is Chewbacca in the Christmas special. So yes, 50 points for Ryan.
Chewie, Christmas special. All right.
Yes, so
what are these fucking scores, man?
all right. So at the end of this round, the scores stand at Lola still in the lead with 32 points. Yadi with 26, and Lewis losing a bit of ground with 23 points. So yeah, we'll go ahead and end it here. And oh yeah, Ryan said we needed a little jingle. Oh, here's a bit of an ending jingle for this one. So we'll close it out with this.
That's hilarious. All right, so we're gonna be talking about Secret Invasion, but before we get on anything, before we got online, these two assholes, these two assholes, Lola wasn't part of this.
No, but I was watching.
Yeah. Okay. So
Did you have a bucket of popcorn?
Baking out of the
Yeah.
corner.
okay.
It
so,
was like watching the scary movie, being like, you know, that girl that always goes in the dark and gets murdered. Her, like, no, don't do it! Don't open the door.
well, here's what happened. Like always, we wait until the day of to figure out what we're going to talk about.
Pretty much.
And we were having a conversation. Well, when I said we, I chimed in a couple times. But these two assholes were having a conversation. And the conversation goes, I'm thinking we should talk about the situation with Twitter. We should probably put Secret Invasion off for next week and just do both episodes then. Yadi says, I really don't know much of it besides the name change, but I don't really know the why. Justin says, I don't really know enough about it either, so let's go with Secret Invasion as our opening segment. Okay, here's my thought process. We always open with Secret Invasion. That's it. Okay. Also, reading it doesn't say we're not going to talk about this at all.
But
At
we were in the same mental page.
I'm glad that you two were. It's fantastic. I guess my Wi-Fi was going slow then. So I'm like, all right, so let's go with Secret Invasion as opening segment. I made a whole like description around the Twitter issue for SEO purposes. I also made the thumbnail for this episode literally about Twitter. I send it to them and I get a text saying, I thought we weren't talking about that. A vein popped out of my forehead. And Yadi adds to it, says, what he said, pointing up. Like, what? So I said, no one said we're not talking about it. But don't worry about it. I got something else in mind. Yadi decided that he was going to send me a screenshot of the conversation like I didn't fucking read it. At that point, I was like, you know what? I already got something else. It's whatever. They keep having a conversation, which is, to me, it wasn't important because I was so focused on changing what I already had. And I sent a new thumbnail surrounding something that we're going to be talking about today, which is the Microsoft acquisition of Activision. Yadi responds with, I thought we were talking about Twitter. And I about lose my shit. I looked at the conversation. I paused for a minute because I couldn't believe what I was reading, and I thought I was gonna have an aneurysm. If I would have had my headphones on, I would have thrown them out the fucking window. And all I said was, "What the fuck?" And then Justin adds to the salt with a James Jonah Jameson laughing. Woo! Let's just say that I almost didn't sign in today because I wasn't gonna throw my headphones out the window. I was gonna grab my PC and throw it out the fucking like down the stairs.
I
you
give
were
up
you were like,
You ruined it.
emotional
You ruined it, and I'm
debt.
leaving.
before we even got started, and just Yadi and I were having the biggest laugh.
Yes, that's
We
Justin's favorite gift for sure. Listen, the thing is, I had after that conversation, the
Right.
last conversation, I had already typed on Discord, I am not doing this shit tonight. You guys can take care of it. And Sarah's like, okay. They're just kidding. I'm like, I know.
But you
As
did walk
soon-
right into it. Right into it.
As soon as you posted the thumbnail, I was like, "Oh my god, yes!" I was dying.
he couldn't resist.
Oh god, that is
Listen,
epic.
Lola, you were in a conversation. You can't comment on it.
I was watching the conversation though, as I usually am. I don't really partake. I watch.
Yeah, trust me, I can tell that you don't partake.
So based on that, what is your input?
My input of the whole thing. You guys did great. Please keep doing it. What's funny is somebody texted me recently that I exude irritation and that it's a miracle that I haven't popped a vein, and I feel like it runs in the family.
Oh shit.
This one right here. It just yours, Louise, not mine. Yours just
Oh,
goes.
I
like,
put a hat on to cover it up.
and this one, yeah, that one too.
I put a hat on to cover it up. I was livid. I was like, listen, these two motherfuckers, they're getting it today.
It was beautiful.
Ryan
It
in the
really
chat,
was.
pretty good rant. I give it a 5 out of what?
I would think a 5.
He gave me a 5 because I was pissed. I was losing my shit. All right. So now that we got that out of the way, Secret Invasion.
Out of 12.
Thanks, Ryan. Hence why you didn't get the invitation for the last episode.
Ooh.
Ouch. And that is strike 3. Sounds good. With that being said, Secret Invasion. Ryan, you can head out now if you want. What do you guys think of this episode? Because
Shit's going down.
yes.
It was a good episode. I think the first half of it was really good. It kind of took a bit of a step back for a little bit, and then the ending really, it sets up like something big is going to happen after he had his little suit up scene and he made that phone call. I'm just
Right.
like, okay.
The
Pause,
eye patch
pause.
is back.
Pause.
Yeah.
Pause. Ryan said, who rates in 5s? Who the fuck rates in 12s?
Yeah, dude, what?
Apparently he
Just-
does.
Move on.
Oh man. Yeah, no, the beginning of the episode was really good. The whole thing with between Gravik and his minions, they're starting to have doubts, and one of them calls him out because it's like, okay, you had a chance to do this, you missed your opportunity, and all this shit, and they start expressing doubts, and then Gravik immediately kills him.
Right.
And that's when he spells it out. It's like, you think you have a voice, but you don't. Like, literally, he's basically saying, it's like, you answer to me, your lives are mine.
Like they're pointless.
Pretty much.
Which kind of put a damp in his plan doing that, because moments later, a couple, like maybe 2 scenes later, they rebel against him, even though he wins, obviously, because he's a super scroll. But now if push comes to shove, they're gonna take someone else's side, and he's gonna be alone.
Probably Gaius.
It would have to be because she's the only one that's got the same powers that he does.
Right. And I think that the way it's gonna go is Guy is gonna talk and trying to convince them that she's a leader and he's not. So I think that is where it's gonna go.
I don't think it's going to be too difficult if they go down that path because those seeds of dissent have already been sown based on his actions from the beginning of that episode.
Right. I think that his actions have something to do with that little experiment that he has inside. I think it went to his head. He's above his own species now.
Pretty much, but I think that mental state was already within him at that point based on everything that's happened in his life up until now.
But he has the balls now to do it.
Right. The experiment just kind of amplified that and just turned it up to 11.
Right.
Or 12 if you go by what Ryan does.
Yeah. Fuck him. So this whole time he's been looking for this little bottle that has all the DNA from the Avengers. Which, if you think about it, if he's this ruthless right now with just what he has, you imagine if he had the power of, I don't know, Captain Marvel, Captain America, Thor, Hulk.
I have a question. Right. Why did Fury keep that? What was the reason?
Because the same reason why Batman has a initiative just in case anyone goes rogue. I have to think that that's the only reason. If the Avengers turned, he would have to create his own batch of Avengers.
There's always, it makes perfect sense. There's always a contingency plan in that respect. So you figure, just in case the Avengers go rogue or one of them turns against the group and kills everyone else, or, if a world-ending scenario and the Avengers are dead, he has to create a new group. So there's all kinds of scenarios that he could be forced to use that.
Yeah, right. At the time he was with the Shield. So like they were up to whatever.
No good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But it's
a whole
mess.
I'm not convinced. Just from
What's your theory?
The things that are, I don't necessarily have a theory as of yet, but it's the timing of the vial and the timing of the Inhumans coming up and mutants and other stuff. It's not clicking.
Yeah,
it's clicking, but it's not clicking in the sense of like I understand having a contingency plan. Obviously, I understand that. But there's always forces of good and evil. There's never going to be just one or the other.
Right. And yes, but also Fury's track record. We all know that he likes to think ahead. And as of right now, he's not a villain. And he's never been in the comic books. So there's always been, that's the funny part then. If anybody that's watching or anybody that's listening can correct me on this, but there's always been a Hulk that goes bad, Captain America goes bad, Iron Man goes bad. Like there's always everybody has gone bad except for Nick Fury. So I don't know. I truly believe it's done the contingency plan because Nick Fury wants to stay ahead. And he wasn't just going to hand the keys to Earth to these superheroes without having a plan just in case.
Right.
So I think that's what it is. If you come up with something or you research something, please let us know.
Think about it further. But it does not click to me the reason. Again, there's always going to be, like you said, Captain America has gone bad, Iron Man has gone bad, Hulk has gone bad, but what about the rest? They've always been good. like while one of them is bad, the rest are good. So there's forces to stop the bad people or the one that has gone evil at whatever comic issue or movie and whatnot.
Right.
But I don't see the need to have the vial, so I feel like it might be something else later on.
I think that
Yeah, they
in
should bring it up later. 'Cause
right.
why he
Yeah.
created the harvest thing, and it's pretty cool that they kind of mention how Gravik got to know about this because he was in that team.
Right.
Yeah.
But that's also they explain that he stole all that.
Mhm.
So that means that he was already out or he was in, but he knew what was happening and he has to steal it to
Yeah.
make sure that it wasn't in the wrong hands. That's why he hid it.
In different places. That's not the only one either.
Mhm.
With Gravik's help at the time,
Right.
which is how he knows about it.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
And
The other
and
thing.
go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, and to the point where it's he's the only one that knows. It's because he still had a plan that he can't trust anybody.
That's fair.
Exactly. I think the only one that he trusts is Captain Marvel.
Yes.
Marvel.
Yes.
Yeah.
And on that note, the Marvels, I'm assuming, is set before these events because he's still in space, unless at the end of this show he goes back to space and then
It's possible.
Yeah,
Because-
I hope that it is after this.
right. 'Cause
I
in
would
the
have
trailer,
assumed that it was set after
Yeah.
this.
Well, we've seen movies that take place before events. Like the Deadpool events are going to be before, in between Spider-Man and Doctor Strange.
Hmm.
So, because there's rumors, just staring off a little bit, but not really. There's rumors that the main plot is going to be a Jean Grey and Scarlet Witch fight.
Hey, girl. Hey.
Right.
Love
That's the
that.
main plot.
That's
So,
what I read. Yeah.
there's also been pictures just going around of the set, and there's one of the pictures that Wolverine and Deadpool are fighting, and there's a 20th Century Fox logo on the ground
Oh, yeah.
where they're fighting. So
This
hopefully,
is probably a part of the multiverse when they
Right.
collapse or something.
Of
Right.
course.
so hopefully like I said before, that this movie takes place in the Deadpool kills comic books. He kills the Marvel universe, and hopefully is Deadpool kills the Fox universe. So that'd be cool.
Mhm.
Going back to this episode, we see when he gets the vial or the harvest, like you guys mentioned, when he's suiting up. Am I the only one that was annoyed that he had every single thing in different spots?
One
Yeah,
little
what the
thing.
fuck?
That's
One little
dramatic.
thing.
Like, I understand having everything in
Hey,
one and then
technology.
eye patch in a separate one for just dramatic effect. But every single thing,
Uh-huh.
I was like, oh, god damn, is he gonna take out a watch too?
Each
Like-
it's ammunition from another place, like one bullet out of a
Yeah.
each little thing.
just you watch. Somebody's gonna wind up creating a sequence where it's just like he winds up opening like 50 of those damn things, and it's just like each one is just an individual piece of something.
I think the problem was that they were all open, and as he was picking stuff up, because he only has one eye, he couldn't see where he put them, so he just kept putting them in different spots.
He turns.
Yeah, he turns. That seems exhausting.
Ian in the chat says the man has OCD. Give him a break.
Talk about not wanting. Yeah, talk about.
But
not-
like,
Yeah, no, for sure. No, he needs total control, but at the same time, I think it's more of if someone opens one and it's like, oh, there's only an eye patch here.
That's so stupid.
Yeah. Like, why did he put the eye patch here?
Well, like he could have
Okay.
put all the clothes in one, the weapons in the other, and again, like really said, like the eye patch on the other, just for dramatic effect. But not even the coat
There's
on
gonna-
one side, beanie on the other one. Come
Yeah.
on, man.
Listen, there's gonna be, like you guys just said, there's gonna be one of those like spoof movies, like scare movie or another teenage movie or whatever it is, and that's gonna be
Yeah.
in the movie.
It doesn't even necessarily have to be that. Somebody will create something that'll get thrown up on TikTok or YouTube, and just it'll be this massive fucking meme.
Ryan said you're talking about Scott. He has obesity. Oh man, that was a good one, Ryan. That's a
Yeah, that
good
was
one.
good.
One of the
You-
things that one of the things I put in my notes is I think that he grabbed from all these places was a little tin can, it looked like a gum, like an Altoid kind of thing.
Yeah.
But I wonder what's in it.
Right. Do you imagine
The
he
Altoid
opened?
can? That was his eye patch was in that.
Oh,
Oh,
was
he
it?
grabbed.
Yeah.
Well,
That was
it was
literally
in the
the
same spot.
No, that Altoid canister that he grabbed out of there, he opened it, and
That's
his
why he
eye
got
patch
the
was in it.
Oh, okay.
Gotcha. Do you imagine he opened one
Minty
and it
on
was
his eye.
well, it wouldn't burn. So he opens one, right foot is boot is in one, left boot is in the other. The shoelaces are in a different one.
Yeah.
What the fuck are you doing? All right. Oh man.
There's two things I wanted to talk about for this episode. One, when when he got to Finland and he was talking about the mask and the umbrage lady, which we're gonna call her that now because of Justin.
Well, I mean, you could take it a step further, well, like you did with the Harry Potter episode, and just call her
bitch.
bitch.
Her name is
Well,
Sonia.
Well,
she's
she
not a
likes her.
bitch though. I
No,
like her.
but
She's
yeah.
a bad bitch,
No, that's what I'm
but
saying.
not
She
a
is,
bitch.
no, that's what I'm saying. She's like, I love I love her attitude about all this, and it's like
Yeah.
you saw that return in that episode when she confronted the guy, what was it, I guess the leader of SIS or whatever the
Right.
fuck it was. And that was really cool. Like you saw that attitude come back, and I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, here we go.
Same thing when they went to get the scientist, and she was like, "No, this person is the one that has a gun onto the back of your neck."
Yep.
She's super nonchalant. I love her. That's a point.
That's Nigel.
Yep.
Yeah.
Nigel.
But
He's like, my name's not Nigel.
this guy is. When Fury meets her and they're talking about the whole like facial like changing thing, that mask that they put on, and he's like, she says, all those billions of dollars and it only changes your face. What about the rest of your body? And then he says, that's the newer one. This is just for now. So they have that technology. I think it
Right.
was important to point that out. And the other thing is the same guy that helped Black Widow acquire all the stuff that she needed is
Yeah,
back
him,
in this
he-
one.
Yeah.
Got the
the
identity
plane.
for
Is
him.
he
Yeah.
is he related to
Fury?
Fury?
I don't know.
Because he says he said something like Mama said this or whatever, and the other dude responded with, well, Mama also thinks you're an idiot. So
Oh,
it
maybe?
I
made
think
me-
that's what they implied.
maybe it's a code name for somebody.
Maybe they're related. I wouldn't surprise me. They're both like
Black. I
they're
get it.
both well, no, they both have similar roles, but in like different aspects. I feel like Nick Fury is more on the government side, and then the other guy is more like on the criminal side almost.
Right.
Like they only use him when they're outside of anything
Jurisdiction.
government related. Yeah.
Right.
It's
No, it
never
makes
like
sense.
while it's with Shield, they had Shield and they had all the means and the ways to get all the stuff that they needed. But now that they're underneath those raiders and the government's radars, radars, radars. They still need stuff, so they have to get it from somewhere.
Right. No, it makes total sense.
Yeah.
What do you guys think that is going to happen in the last episode? Are we going to see a fight, or are we going to see
Oh, yeah.
There has to
be
be.
continue?
Probably it's a
Well,
fight,
There
but
has to be.
we
I mean-
didn't talk about the little fight that happened before then. Gaia and Vara, they kick ass in their house defending.
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
They
That
had their
was-
little
Bitches.
they had their little John Wick moment.
I almost said that. John Wick moment.
Yeah. Oh, some
was great.
badass killing action right there.
Yeah.
Because I was also thinking, like, are they fighting stormtroopers? Because these guys can't aim for shit.
Well,
Maybe.
yeah. We have 3 Star Wars characters in this show. Or 3 Star Wars actors, not characters.
Hmm.
So it makes total sense if they did.
Also, going back a little bit to the beginning of the episode when basically Gravik orders Brody to have the president just nuke the new Scrollock site and just
Right.
get rid of everyone. Like
Yeah,
he's,
no.
he's trying to cleanse everything.
Yeah, it's to, I don't know if it was a bluff to make Fury think that he doesn't have an upper hand. And like I got nothing to lose. Like the one thing that I'm doing this for, I'm willing to destroy it so I can win. So it's more like I took it as he's trying to tell Fury, I don't care what you do. Like you can literally bomb
Yeah, I
this
mean
place
he
and I don't
knows
care.
that Fury obviously cares about the scrolls, some
Right.
of them. So he's trying to use that, and he will do it. Like it
Right.
is not a bluff. He will do it unless they give me this, and probably will do both.
Right. I think that this whole time Fury had someone else other than Gaia infiltrated.
Yeah, and a
Possible.
little thing that I don't know if you guys missed it. At the beginning of the episode, when he tells the president, basically look out for Rhodey,
Mhm.
and I'm hoping that he remembers.
Right.
Maybe if they don't do anything with that, then what's the point of pointing it out there?
They're gonna. I think
think
they're
he
gonna
planted
have
the seed.
something right. That's gonna come up again in the final episode, and there's gonna be a big, like something really big. I mean, it has to be all this build up. There needs to be a massive payoff, because if
Right.
not, then right. And I think it could be somewhat of a cliffhanger leading into the Marvels, or it could be just this big climactic thing and then a post-credit scene that leads into
I hope
the
it's 2
Marvels.
hours.
considering this episode was only 36 minutes long.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
This next one is the last one, right?
So
Oh, boy.
I'm
for
kinda
some reason
disappointed.
I feel like they've given us so much information. And the episodes are really short and it's only been 6 episodes.
Yeah, I think they're just cutting the bullshit and going straight. Like we mentioned in the last episode, like we know that they're definitely because they had this for a movie, and in the movie, like they couldn't just bullshit around.
Right. Right.
They're
Well,
just
yeah.
extending a little bit.
Well, yeah, no, it makes sense in that respect, because you try to do this in a 2 to 3 hour movie, and you run the risk of repeating the same mistake that Doctor Strange 2 did.
Right.
Right.
And I don't think they want to do that. And so this, honestly, I think made the most sense.
I agree. I think that they're doing what they should be doing in this episode or in this show. So we'll see. We'll see. I think that there's going to be a fight between Gaia and Gravik, and there's going to be, and at some point, Gravik is going to kind of kick Fury's ass, because I can see it, because he has so much hatred for him.
Oh, yeah.
That he's got to be involved in that fight, and there's going to be a fight between Nick Fury and Rhodey.
Rhodey.
I think Rhodey is going to wind up dying. Well, yeah, I think the fake Rhodey is going to wind up dying next episode.
And they had to show where the real Rhodey is, especially for Armor Wars.
Oh, no doubt.
That's probably going to be the last thing they'll show.
Right.
And maybe next to him is Maria. We'll see.
Actually, I have a theory for that, and I know I said I had only one for today, but now I have two. So thank you guys.
Perfect.
Yay.
Hey.
All right. On that note, do you guys have anything else?
I think we're looking pretty good. I'm pleasantly excited for what's going to come for Wednesday.
One more
Two
day.
2 more days, folks. 2 more days.
By the time that we're awake on Wednesday, it'll be out. So
yeah, there you go.
All right. So with that being said, we're going to go on a quick break. And when we come back, we're going to talk about Microsoft and Activision acquisition.
Woo.
Activision. Stay there.
Fantastic.
Alition.
Activision?
We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Nerd Archive podcast. You just listened to our breakdown of the latest episode. It was episode 5 of Secret Invasion. And a little rant in the beginning. Don't worry about that. And now we're going to talk about the Microsoft and Activision acquisition. I don't know much about it, but we're going to let Justin and Yadi, I don't know if you know Justin, sounds good. Talk about it. Let's give us the most important things that happened in the last month.
So basically, there was a big stink mainly by Sony, because, well, yeah, I mean, and there's going to be a lot to unpack in regards to that, because Sony does a lot of dumb shit that just, and a lot of people thought that this deal was going to be like, oh, it's so anti-competitive with them, buying up this studio, and it's just like, no, this is actually the least anti-competitive thing in that they could have done. Like, literally, if anything, I think it would make Microsoft even more competitive in the console scene, and that against Sony. And it's funny that Sony and the people that defend them say this crap because they routinely pay or bribe, however you want to put it, studios and publishers to make certain games exclusive to PlayStation.
Right.
And it's just like it's the most hypocritical thing in the world, and it's aggravating. And there are people that actually defend this because it's just like, if that's the only way that you have to stay, like to keep your edge and stay on top, then why do you even bother?
Why didn't you try to do this in the first place? Why didn't
They
you try
don't-
to buy another company or Activision?
They don't have, Sony does not have that kind of money in order to spend, because Microsoft shelled out almost $70 billion to buy this company. And here's the funny thing is they had a contract on the table. Sony and Activision Blizzard had a contract on the table for 10 years to guarantee Activision titles on PlayStation. And I think this was from Microsoft before all this went down. And so let's go into it a bit. So Microsoft, I guess, made the decision to buy Activision Blizzard, and
Right.
in order to bolster their studios and get more, bring them into the fold and have more first party stuff in order for them to be more competitive when it comes to Sony and that. And, obviously, I mean, we can put Nintendo in there, even though
Right.
a lot of people think that, Nintendo doesn't deserve to be a part of the conversation. They absolutely do, because you're looking at companies that have like the most number of third-party studios under their umbrella. And so they have this huge breadth of studios and titles that they can draw from, that they can put on, that will sell, and they draw massive amounts of money. And so I think one of the big factors, I think, in them trying to get Activision Blizzard was part of it to do not just with that, but because they did the same with Bethesda, who is putting out what the fuck is that game? Starfield.
Yeah.
And Sony was trying the same deal. They were trying to pay Bethesda to make Starfield PlayStation exclusive. And then Microsoft comes in, snaps up the studio, and now all of a sudden it's Xbox and PC, of course. And so when this whole thing came out, where they were planning to buy Activision Blizzard, I guess Sony decided to raise a big stink with the FTC and the CMA over in the UK to try and halt this deal. They claiming we're being anti-competitive, and it drew into this massive fucking court battle that lasted for weeks, trying to get, and I think they initially got a temporary injunction to halt the sale until they could conclude the trial. And unfortunately for Sony and the FTC, they could not prove their case. They lost. They also lost the appeal, and in turn, also the CMA over in the UK withdrew their case. And so they were finally able to let this deal go through. And so now Activision Blizzard is officially part of Microsoft. So, and the funny thing is, and here's the interesting part. Before all this went down, Microsoft and Sony had a 10-year deal on the table to have Activision titles on PlayStation, not just Call of Duty, but several other Activision Blizzard titles that they would have controlled. They set that aside and decided to go ahead with this case. And now there's a new deal that Sony wound up signing. But that new deal, it's a 10-year deal, only covers Call of Duty. None of the other games are on the table. And I'm just like, you fucked up big time.
They shot themselves in the foot.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like they wanted to keep this deal from happening because anti-competitive. Fuck that shit. I'm actually glad this deal went through. I don't know about anyone else, but I'm glad this deal went through. I'm glad they were allowed to do this. I think it's going to work out better for everyone, because not just that, it works out well for Nintendo, because now Nintendo has a 10-year deal as well with Microsoft to have Activision Blizzard titles on their hardware, which I'm assuming is going to start with Nintendo's next hardware when that finally comes out.
Right.
And so
I'm excited for this.
Oh yeah.
Because now Activision is going to have bigger pockets to push the games. And
I mean, they've been pushing games every year.
Right, but
Uncompleted.
Right.
Not full games for sure.
Right.
Oh
But
yeah.
hopefully they can get better people to work on them.
Well,
I think that Microsoft is a little bit better with that, so hopefully they can guide them in the right
I've been hearing that
direction.
ever since this thing was allowed to go through, that a lot of the older Call of Duty games have been getting fixed, because a lot of the older, because there are
They
people
started
out
the
there
servers.
right, they a lot of people they like some of the older Call of Duty games, like the older Modern Warfare games, Black Ops 2 and things like that. And for a while, it's like they couldn't, like, you had, like, the peer-to-peer servers and that stuff were still up, but they were just they were just riddled with they were basically unplayable. And things, I guess, have started getting fixed as a result of this merger being allowed to go through, because they're putting more into it, so people are starting to be able to play the older Call of Duty games that they enjoyed so much. And honestly, that's good to see. I like seeing that. And like it really highlights a massive problem with me, seeing all of this stuff come out, and the people that are coming up in defense of these companies and just ridiculing people who, like, the thing, it's the outdated and stupid fucking console wars that, from my perspective, Sony seems to be fanning the flames of that fucking antiquated shit. And I honestly believe that the console wars need to just die.
Right.
Because it doesn't.
They're dying. I think they're dying.
Well,
I
they
see
are.
less conversation of people like, "Oh, your PlayStation," or your PC. Like, I see
that
it
shit
less.
on. Well, it's starting to lessen, but it's like it kind of picked up a bit because of this whole Microsoft versus Sony with the Activision and the FTC and all that shit. It started to pick up on Twitter. It's not
On X
so much anymore. And certain Xbox, groups on Twitter are still talking about it. Certain PlayStation groups on Twitter are still talking about it, but it's becoming less and less. But honestly, I just want to see this whole thing die, because it's the most immature and honestly hypocritical thing, like, in the world.
Right.
And it's like I said, it seems to me that Sony has been fanning the flames of that, especially in this most recent month, with all this shit going on with the FTC.
Right. On Ryan's point, it says, what if Apple got into the console game? They're not getting into the console game. However, their latest chips and hardware, they are moving it forward with more games. They are getting more licenses to be able to make games for Apple.
Well, I think it also allows it's also allowing different publishers to see Apple as a good platform to put their games on as well, in terms of the PC gaming market.
Right.
And so that's going to allow more people to, get into these games. And honestly, that's good to see.
Yeah, no, I'm excited to see where this whole, because gaming has always been a thing, but in the last, I want to say 2 years, 3 years
after the pandemic,
after the pandemic, it kind of like
a lot more.
went up big time. And I think that that's one of the reasons why Apple wants to get in on this, and they want to make their hardware a little bit better to be able to play games and such. They actually talked about how they were going to allow. No, he would never play for sure. They are making their games that you can actually play with an Xbox controller or a PlayStation controller. So they're doing things because they probably don't want to dive too much into it because of the same reason why that you brought up, that the console wars. If Apple jumps into that, I'm an Apple guy, but I don't think I would spend my money on a Apple console because
Just
we all know
$10,000.
Yeah,
You don't have $10,000.
Yeah,
It's
right.
well, here's the thing. It's the console the console scene is already a crowded market. And so I think Apple would be essentially just throwing money down the toilet trying to get into the console market. And that's the thing though. Their pricing strategy to me is been one of the driving factors for me of not really heavily adopting that platform. And so also like Apple devices, as far as like computers and things like that, really haven't been up until recently the best in terms of PC gaming. And that's why most developers and publishers don't really focus on creating games that will work on every device, including Apple. But with Apple making strides to advance their technology, that seems to be changing.
Right.
And I play like mobile gamings are another thing. What they are actually really good at. The phones can handle it already. Like they don't cater it to that, but they can handle it easily.
Mobile
And
gaming has been a different beast entirely, and so that that's where both Apple and Android excel, and so. But now they seem to be. Huh?
I wouldn't include Android there, but it's okay.
I would. Shut up.
You tell him.
I play on my iPad. I play with my PlayStation controller, Call of Duty Mobile, when it started.
Right.
And I remember not losing for 10+ games. Like it was just so easy.
Right. But also
no lag.
Right. You also got to remember that you're used to the PC world, and all of a sudden you have this mobile game that almost reacts the same, but the ones using that game are mobile gamers, not PC gamers, to an extent.
Right. It's just working. Yeah. But it's still like when it was coming out and they had you can see actually you could choose to play just with controller people and not like it's just different.
Yeah, no, for sure. Run Snake. Minesweeper, if that. Hey, a lot of them were blowing up like Minesweeper. So the mobile game, also you got to remember you're playing with a controller. A lot of them were holding their phones like this, or iPads.
Man, but you can see some people like having these weird angles on playing on their phones or tablets.
I could never do like an FPS game like that on any mobile device because touch controls are just fucking weird.
You see them with little like rings to have more grip on the screen, and it's so
it's just
another level of mobile gaming.
It's weird. And that's weird though, because it's like there's some people that are actually used to that and are actually good at using that control style, and so it's
like when we did the gaming night. My youngest daughter joined us to play Among Us, and she played on the iPad with the touch controller,
Mhm.
and she was killing us.
those last few games where she
hustled us for
yeah.
sure. Because in the first game, she's like, "Oh, I don't know what to do." She didn't win, and then all of a sudden she got to be the what you call the imposter
Yep.
twice, and she killed us both, like everybody quickly too. I'm like, what the hell?
Oh yeah.
It was fun. It was fun. She loved it, so it was awesome to have her there. All right. So, do you guys have anything else on this?
No, I think I'm good. I'm good. I'm looking forward to seeing what what the future holds for Microsoft and what what they're going to do with the Activision titles.
Right. I'm excited too. So we'll see what happens. If you guys don't have anything else, we're gonna go on a 45-second short break, and when we come back, we're gonna have Lola's theories and Would You Rather. So please don't go anywhere. I miss you already.
You better not.
All right, guys, welcome back. We just talked about the Microsoft Activision acquisition. I just like to say that. That's it. That's it. Now, Lola, take over for the Lola's theories and Would You Rather.
Okay. So theory number 1 is that Mary Poppins and Pennywise are basically the same creature, just one feeds off of joy, the other one feeds off fear.
The same creature, or are they from the same planet?
I don't want to say same creature, but they're like kind
Same
of the
species?
same
Right.
species, if you would. Yeah.
It's like the
Same
Monsters Inc.
form.
theory that, well, not theory, but the concept that they scream and they get power, and they laugh and they get more power.
Yeah,
Okay.
pretty much. And then a theory number 2, which we were just talking about, secret invasions. I still think that it's funny that they brought up the nanotech mask. So theory off of that is that well, the full body one, not the just the mask, is that they killed off Maria Hill to like take her off the board. And then they put her in a full body suit so that she can change her appearance and is, in with Gravik's crew.
She's Sonia.
I was thinking that she is the guy that comes into in the second episode. She dies in the first one. Then this guy shows up outside, and he's like, "Show us your true form." And he takes off his hat. He becomes, a squirrel, and then he goes back, puts the hat back on.
Yes.
Oh, wait. So the one that Gaia brings into the
Yep.
Yeah, that guy.
he got killed in the
That's the guy that got
Right.
killed. I thought it was a different one.
No, that-
Pagan
he
got
took his
killed,
hat off.
but when
Oh.
when they were trying to hit Gravik, he's the one talking, like the black guy talking to him on the table.
Okay.
That was the guy that comes in.
Oh shit! Sorry, Ryan.
Oh shit.
You should have
Oh,
watched it. He's the one that
Whoopsies.
he's the one that he's made an example of. When
Okay.
he drags him outside and then kills him
I
in
didn't
front of the
recognize
other
him. He
ones.
didn't have the hat on.
Yeah. So that's him.
But it's still a theory, I think. She could
Okay.
still be somebody on the inside, in my opinion.
Right.
It makes sense considering, I mean, the theme of the show.
Right? And then why
It's a scroll, just playing another scroll. Oh, I'm so
Yeah.
sorry.
Why bring up the full body nanotech if you're not going to talk about it?
Right.
If you're not going to use it later on, what's the point? But
Right.
also, that's it for that theory. All right, would you rather? Number 1, you can read anyone's mind and uncover their innermost secrets, but they learn yours at the same time. Or super hearing, but your ears are so sensitive that normal sounds are painful and cause bleeding headaches.
The second one.
Second one, because you already get migraines. That's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
noise cancellation headphones. So I guess the
Fair.
second one.
Second one. Okay.
That's a good point there, Yadi. I think I'll go with the second one.
Second one. You guys are boring. I liked it better when you guys used to like come up with shit. Anyways.
He
The
came up
second
with
one
something.
is he
I don't want him
did, but
to
there was
know
no
my
like
secrets.
opposing force. The other one is create a medium-sized or massive explosion, but they're short distances from you, and you're not immune to them. Or super speed followed by an equal period of intense, like lethargy. I don't know how to say
Lethargy.
lethargy and slowness.
I'll pick that one because I'm already slow, so I won't see the difference when I get high speed a couple times. Yeah, why not?
Okay.
To be honest, I think the super speed seems more appealing because you can use it as much as you want, but obviously equal periods of exhaustion and whatnot. So that
So
I'll
with
go
the
with that.
first, with
And I
the
got
first
terrible
one,
knees, so
with the first one, so you die if I create the explosion.
You know what? I'm gonna say no because chaos.
'Cause
You're
I
not
like
gonna die,
chaos.
but you're gonna be in pain.
That's okay. Do I have like rapid healing a little bit?
No.
All right, I'll do that one.
What's life without a little risk?
are we
Right?
able to use the past would you rather powers that we already have?
No.
Because I would hold
No.
my breath and float and explode.
No.
No, damn
Not
it.
allowed. I'm sorry.
God damn it.
It's a new slate every would you rather.
Ah, damn.
Yeah, you go back to being human after the episode ends. I'm sorry.
Damn, that's boring.
I'll
Just
just go
like
in
your
the middle,
answers.
in the middle of the studios for DC, and then explode real quick.
That's a great.
could work
that's
for,
that's a better movie than what they've been making.
Michael Bay.
Yes.
What's that?
You can work for Michael Bay.
Yeah.
That'd be
Could
great.
be interesting.
All right.
He likes explosions.
Yes.
Yeah.
A lot.
Yeah.
Okay. So was that it?
Yeah.
Perfect. We have one Ask the Archive. We have more, but we'll leave those for next week. What, in your opinion, is the best video game based off a movie and the best movie based off a video game? Also, why is Lewis such an asshole? All right, video game based off movie. Go.
Hmm.
Sorry, I missed the question. Let me repeat it.
To be honest, I've never really gotten into the game tie-ins from movies, or games based on movies. They never really struck me as decent, in my opinion.
Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat,
No, movies
movie
are
based or
no. It's
games
it's
based off
both.
movies.
Game based off a movie. So basically,
Right.
like a movie tie-in video game. So
Right.
basically, like Lord of the Rings. Like they did video games based off of those actual stories. And so it's like a lot of people have said that, oh yeah, the Lord of the Rings Return of the King was a really good one. But it's just like I've never really been a big fan of the movie tie-in games.
I like Episode 3, Star Wars Episode 3 video game, and the Wolverine video game, because it, like we talked about in a previous episode, the cutscenes are scenes from the movie in video game form. And Ryan says, I expect answers from all parts of that question.
No, that's fine. I mean,
Doom was a good one. I agree with you, Ryan.
It
wasn't the best, but it was good.
No.
Ian, Lego Indiana
Terrible.
Jones.
Terrible.
Resident Evil.
Isn't this the other way? Like a movie came
Ooh.
out first, and then you create a game. Is that what we're
Pretty
talking
much.
about?
Yeah.
Right.
And then on the opposite end is a movie based on a video game.
Right. So
first we're doing.
my answer is Star Wars Episode 3 video game and the Wolverine.
And mine was I don't like any of them. So there you go.
I like the Revenge of the Sith one. I did play that one, but
That's the
apart
one.
from that,
Yeah.
I don't have a game based on a movie. Like it is always off. Like I don't have like Spider-Man. That's not off the movies, but
Right.
it is. Hogwarts
Kind of,
Legacy.
but not really.
Well, they
Hogwarts
did.
Legacy.
I mean, they
Hogwarts
did create. They did create movies that were based on the Sam Raimi Spider-Man trilogy.
Right.
Um,
But they didn't make it as popular
clearly.
as these last video games that they made. So
Mm.
I did play those, but they were not fully based on, because it's only the character, but the enemies were not.
GoldenEye.
Yes, that just hit. That just.
Ryan.
Thank you for that one,
You're a
and
genius.
thank you, Ryan. Yeah, no, GoldenEye.
That was great.
The movie
See?
came out first.
Yes.
Oh yeah. And then Rare made this amazing shooter.
Yes. All right.
I played it a
So
lot.
now the opposite.
Mortal Kombat.
So, which one?
The first one.
The first Mortal Kombat.
That's when they made the movies first, right?
Mhm.
Oh, they made the games first,
Yeah.
Yes.
and then the movies.
Yes.
So yes, Mortal Kombat 1. I love that game. Way back in the day. It's more nostalgia than what it looks.
Yeah.
It wasn't the best looking game, but if fighting, I don't think they have done that again. Like it's pretty fast when
Right.
it comes to, like, when you hit the button, it actually punches. You know.
It was
Right.
kind of ahead of his time.
Oh, no doubt. Well, I mean, with obviously we're getting away with what we're supposed to be talking about, but yeah, no, they were way ahead of their time using what the actual actual actors and filming all that stuff for the game, which was actually really cool. But like to your response, getting back on the topic at hand, the first Mortal Kombat movie was a decent movie, I think. And I think if they had gotten all of the actors back for the second Mortal Kombat movie, it would have been really cool. But
Right.
you know, a lot of those were bigger names at the time, and so they weren't able to do so, and it didn't hit the same. And then there was an overabundance of characters on that second one, and it just didn't.
It hit differently.
Yeah. So mine, I mean, it's obvious, and just like Ryan was saying, the Super Mario Brothers movie, the newest one, not that shitty live action one that they created in the 90s. It started to become a cult classic after a while, but honestly, dude, it's just like, no, it's terrible. But the new one is definitely something amazing.
Oh yeah. I haven't seen it yet, but I can tell.
You need to.
I know. Lola, do you have one? A movie
TV show or movie based on a game?
On a game, yes.
I think I like The Last of Us.
Hey.
That's a good show. And it was true to the game from what I've seen.
That's a good choice.
Yeah.
Talking about Mortal Kombat. Do you guys see the characters that they're implementing to Mortal Kombat 1?
Oh, like Peacemaker.
It's gonna, and what's his name from the
Homelander?
Boys? Homelander.
From the Boys.
Yeah.
he's in Call of Duty right now.
Yeah.
Fucking hell.
Let me see if I can remember.
I just saw that the other day, and I only remember Peacemaker.
Right. I honestly haven't even seen any of those series. I haven't seen Peacemaker yet. I haven't seen The Boys. I've seen a bunch of clips and stuff, so I kind of got a grasp on the story. It's based on a comic.
Yeah.
But yeah, I haven't had the chance to sit down and watch it.
Oh, Omni-Man. It's
Omni-Man.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Season 2 is coming out. And they're actually season 2 of Invincible is coming out. And then they're doing a spin-off also.
They did a death battle between Homelander and Omni-Man.
Did you see the death battle between Omni-Man, Homelander, Superman, and One Punch or One Man Punch?
Oh, One Punch Man?
That guy.
I haven't seen it, but I can imagine how brutal that gets. But I also imagine that fucking Saitama would.
It's like 5 minutes. It's the fastest of all the death match. You guys got to watch it. It's kind of pissed me off at the same time. Like, I get it.
I can only assume Saitama just destroys everyone.
Just watch it. I'm not going to spoil it. So, and why is Lewis an asshole? Well, we don't have to answer that. I think you all have your own opinions on that. So, I'm just going to move it on. If you guys don't have anything else, I think we have reached the end of the episode.
All good.
Perfect. That's it, folks. That's all, folks. Listen, I'm gonna cut that out because that's I don't want to get copyrighted for that. So make sure you go on our website, thenerdarchive.com. If you want to see all of our episodes, you can just see them on there. You want to get amazing merch, you can also find it on there. Make sure you're going on all of our social media.
Click all the
down below in the description. You guys are fantastic. And on behalf of Lola, Yadi, Justin, and myself, Louis. This was the Nerd Archive podcast. Thank you, Ryan. Thank you, Ian. See you guys, I don't know, next week maybe? I don't know, like every week. Okay. You guys are awesome. See ya.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.